Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Killer Collab podcast. My name is Tone Deaf from Florida, Tony D. Once again, I'm being joined with Chris Lato from Reaper Film.
Yo, 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 yo.
And today we have a special guest. Emphasis on the special. We got Sean Donohue from Gatorblade Films. Woo! Yeah. Usually, as you know, when we bring in new guests on the new show, we like to pick your brains, see what you're doing, see what you're working on, and just find out what makes you tick. So Sean, what do you got working on us now?
So I have special guests. All right, you might know him. His name is also Tony.
Oh boy!
And I wanted to bring.
Hey, stop messing with my head. My head doesn't look like that in real person.
This is exactly what Tony's head looks like, guys. I don't know what you're.
No, that's not what it looks like. Get it out of there! No.
Now he can't talk anymore, darn.
Oh, no. Oh, stop giving myself head.
Yeah, you're like...
I don't want to know what you do with that behind
just do that. Be the podcast as Tony's dead head.
That head's been places. That head has been places.
Yeah, no, this move... Okay, so this head, we'll talk about it real quick.
Okay.
It's got two on-screen appearances. Probably better known for the Naked Cannibal Campers, and then most recently in Zed's Dead. But who knows? We might use it again. I don't know. No one bought it in the last Indiegogo campaign, so that's how Tony's going to keep getting roles in my movies. I just keep chopping his head off.
Yeah, that's been my go-to. Just chop my head off for just random times. So what movie you got going now?
Nothing at the moment. I don't know if Chris has brought it up, but we had something we were kind of working on, and then we had a couple pitfalls, and I kind of wanted to take a break. I have a couple things I'm kind of writing right now. One of them's called the Bikini Bimbo Barbecue, and a couple other things that are back burner, but nothing that I'm jumping into right at the moment.
And is Zed's Dead done? Is that edited, right?
Zed's Dead? Yeah, it's done. I handed it off to my DVD Blu-ray author person, Chris Woods, so he's working on that. And as soon as that's done, we're going to get copies made, send them out, and then we're gonna try and get on streaming. I don't know how well we'll do with that because it's pretty graphic.
Yeah.
But it'll be in physical form nevertheless.
Are you doing a premiere?
We were trying to do that. I mean, we had some trouble with Naked Cannibal Campers. We were trying to set up something at a drive-in and didn't have any success with that. And then we tried to do something online, and that turned out to be kind of a shitstorm too. So no, I don't think we're unfortunately going to be doing any kind of premiere with that.
We call it a private theater, but apparently he doesn't want any business. So
yeah, it's weird how these new
pricing himself out of the market.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely tried. We made a couple calls, but back when Chris and I first started, doing a premiere was
awesome.
Pretty easy. I mean, we had theaters that would show our stuff pretty cheap, and we could make a day out of it. Now, I mean, especially with the coronavirus, it's just not happening.
Yeah, this virus messed up a lot of things, but you guys have been staying busy during the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, probably the busiest we've been in a while. It's kind of, I can say that I can't speak for everyone else, but it's kind of maybe given a little bit of a resurgence to independent stuff since Hollywood's not really, putting out too much right now.
Yeah. That's true. A lot of content. A lot of people are looking for content, nothing to watch. They watched everything. They binge watched everything known to man, and now they just want more. Just feed them more. Feed me more. Now you had a Tampa-based Screams. How did that work out for you? I know we promoted it on the show, and I didn't get a chance to get down there because I was obviously busy. But the Tampa-based Screams, how big of a show out did you get?
It was actually, believe it or not, the most successful one to date. It was a decent turnout, but I was happy that it was as good as it did. I mean, for as many people that didn't come out for the coronavirus, that many people came out because of the coronavirus. It was the first thing to do in a while for a lot of. I mean, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and told me this was the first thing they've done in a year as far as some kind of social event. So it went so good that in fact we were doing another one in July, and I got a little ad the Tampa Chamber of Commerce made for me. If anyone's, I'm going to be putting these around town in various comic book stores and record stores and that kind of thing.
And I'll also put a link in the description for on Spotify and YouTube.
I'll put the link in. Yeah, it's just one day this time. It's July 17th. Some of the guests include Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Marilyn Eastman from Night of the Living Dead. We recently got this actor named Brian Bremer. He's in Pumpkinhead.
What was he in Pumpkinhead?
He doesn't have a big role, so I don't know how familiar you are with the movie. But in the movie Pumpkinhead, you got Lance Henriksen and his son that dies in the beginning of the movie. So when his son dies,
spoiler alert.
What's up?
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. If you don't know the plot for Pumpkinhead, sorry. So anyway, Lance takes his dead son to this witch doctor in the woods, and Brian Bremer is the kid that leads him to the witch doctor. He's got kind of a recurring role in the movie. But he's in a lot of other stuff. He's a voice actor now. He does a lot of voice work. But he's been kind of a character actor in the 80s. If you've probably seen him in something you didn't know who he was, but cool guy nevertheless, and we're glad to have him. This is going to be his first horror convention ever.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of. But
exciting.
Tampa Bay Screams, we've always tried to get kind of culty, lesser known actors, rather than just the cast of Stranger Things or something like that.
Yeah. They have a lot of rules to follow too. Like their agents, like the other big conventions, they got like big rules. Like you can't like sign autographs away from your thing, or
don't look them in the eye.
Yeah, it's weird. I think I've been to just one of your Tampa Bay Screams. I think it was when we released Dead Residents. That's right after that.
That's right.
I went to that one. But
it's
pretty
a
chill.
lot more laid back than the bigger conventions, but I think that's why a lot of people like my convention. Not saying that they don't like there's another crowd for that, but my convention kind of attracts a little bit different of a crowd. It's people looking for physical media, toys, T-shirts, discount autographs, and you're not. I mean, this next convention is only. It's only $10 to get into. I don't know any other convention that's that cheap.
Yeah, that's really cheap.
So now, with that being said, mine's a lot smaller than these other ones. But if you've never been to a horror convention or ever been to anything like that, and you want to kind of test the waters, I think that Tampa Bay Screams is a good place to do that.
Absolutely, it's definitely you get able to get personal with the actors and creators of the media, and I think it's just a good opportunity for, like I said, new people to come out and do it.
Yeah, and it's a good opportunity if you're an independent filmmaker or actor or actress and you want to try to promote yourself. It's a good way, if you want to get a vendor table, it's a good way to, put yourself out there. I remember, early on when Chris Slato and I first got started, we went to local events. There was this event called the Real Terror Film Festival, and it was kind of like a mini convention. And by going to that, I mean, we probably met 50 more people that we hadn't known right here in Tampa that were in the industry, and that Tampa Bay Screams is the same thing. If you're trying to get into it or already into it, you're probably going to meet more people that are have the same likenesses as you.
Yeah. Who's the most the most famous person you had on one of your Tampa Bay Screams?
I mean, Lloyd Kaufman had a pretty good draw. I think that might have been the year that you came.
Yeah.
Linnea Quigley. I mean, no one that famous.
Yeah.
I mean, famous to me. Rhonda Shear. I mean, Tony? Did you ever watch USA Up All Night back in the day?
I might be too young for that. I might be too young for that.
Yeah, that was 80s.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
You're right on the edge, though, man. Anyway, she was like you know who Elvira is, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
She was like a nighttime movie host. It was on cable. It was called USA Up All Night, and she was she showed cheesy B movie. I mean, Chris Slato, do you remember her?
Yeah. The big boob movie host.
Yeah. And anyway, she lives here in Tampa. She came out one year. I'm trying to just comb into my brain all the people we've had. I mean, like I said, a lot of B movie stars. Patty Mullen from Frankenhooker, Linnea Quigley from Return of the Living Dead. Camille Keaton from I Spit on Your Grave. Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah, yeah. The one of my least favorite.
Karate Master.
Yeah. Really
they
nice
call that
lady,
the
nevertheless. But
they
yeah,
have the
I'm
Dream
not a
Master.
big fan.
The Dream
of
Master.
They have the Dream Master. They should have called that one the Karate Master. Because they had that big karate fight at the end.
That the karate. Oh yeah. That's when she got all the Dream Warriors.
And she's fighting karate fighting them.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like I said. That was one of the worst ones I had.
They all suck, dude.
No, not all of them. 3 was great.
Everybody
Chris
likes
and I are
3.
kind of on par with the sequels. We don't think any of the sequels are
They
good.
all suck.
Yeah.
I'd go 1 and then the very last one, Wes
New Nightmare?
Craven's New Nightmare, were the only 2
I like that one.
worth of shit.
I'm a big fan
like 2.
of.
You like 2?
Part 2. I'm a big fan of Part 2. It was
He also likes
But I like
Jason Goes to Hell, too.
But I like the was it Mark Patton? I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably getting him for Tampa Bay Screams.
I want to meet him.
We were supposed to get him this past year, but it didn't work out with Corona.
We lived in Mexico.
But
and it was
Part 2 is still like Freddy's still scary. Like it's not comical. And it was the first Nightmare on Elm Street I ever saw. Believe it or not, I saw the second one before the first one.
Yeah.
So it kind of has a special place for me. But
I think the third one was the first one I saw. Third one was the first one.
I mean, I do like the first one better.
Yeah.
But like the sequels. Once Freddy started like making jokes.
See, that's what I liked. That's what I liked about it. Chris and I had that conversation. Like, that's what when he started to get funny, because I associate horror with comedy, because for some reason both of them give the same the thrill that the killers have. Like they actually get motivated and they enjoy it so much. It's like comical for them.
But in the first one,
I mean, I like horror comedy, but not in that case.
Nah.
Well, like the first one, he cracked jokes in the first one, but they were like scary jokes. Like I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. And his tongue comes out of the phone. You know?
Yeah, they were like creepy, like pedophile jokes. They weren't like,
God.
Hey, you're on prime time, bitch, or whatever.
That was
So
I mean, but that made a lot of T-shirts. I know if you came up with something big, it was very marketable to do it like that, though.
Well, I know that me and Chris are in the minority when we say we don't like that, because I mean everyone, like a lot of horror fans I talk to, they love Part 3. They like all the goofy Freddy shit, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? This is stupid. But I'm not a fan. Sorry.
Wasn't that Patty Arquette's first movie?
Yeah, I think it was.
Is that her first movie, Patricia Arquette?
Patricia Arquette.
Oh yeah, she's in part 3.
Yeah, that's her first movie.
She's the main. I think it said introduce, and Lawrence Fishburne's in that movie too. They said introduce Lawrence Fishburne or Larry Fishburne or something like that in 3. So I think.
He's I think he's an orderly or something like that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't her first movie.
I think.
I don't think it's Patricia Arquette's first movie, but it's definitely probably one of her first movies.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
I have to look it up.
I did like her in that role though. Like it definitely, she was able to do it very well and convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Part 4. I mean, how awesome is Part 4 in any series? I mean, what are you expecting? I mean, it's as good as it probably could have been, I will say this, as bad as I don't like the sequels, when I do get into watching Nightmare on Elm Street, I end up watching them all, and then I say the same thing and said, I didn't like that one again. Like, so, they're winning. It's like, they got me to watch a bad movie again.
Kind of like revisiting Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 again. You're just like, yeah, it still sucks.
Yeah, that one, I mean, I've only ever watched that. Well, I didn't even finish it. I've watched it 1.5 times. And when a movie's really bad, it's I'm trying to think of another example to where I watched it. I'm like, why did I waste? The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. I've only seen that twice, and I just
twice
liked
too many.
it the second time just as much.
Yeah, I watched it once and then revisited it a few years later just to see if I remembered how bad it was. Yeah, I remember.
I could not sit through that entire at all. So I hate how they made him the actual pedophile. I know that was the original thought of his character.
Well, that was his character.
Yeah, but he was a child murderer in the original movies.
But he was also a molester, murderer, and then the parents, pounded him down and burned him.
It was just I just don't like how they depicted it in the new one.
It didn't hold together well. I thought the actors they seemed like they didn't want to be there. The music wasn't good. It just all together everything just wasn't. I didn't think it was good.
Yeah, it's just, and then 4 and 5, like the Dream Child and Dream Master, those were just, I don't even know why they even tried. I think
Money.
there's a money grab.
grab.
Who was it? New Line? Who made
New Line?
Yeah, New Line.
Oh
New Line.
God, they're
That's the movie. That's their first movie to put them on the map. Was Nightmare on Elm Street.
And yes, Patricia Arquette's first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Wow.
So
okay.
that was her first movie, first credited movie. So. Yep.
Speaking of series, not to get off subject, so I recently watched, because I had never seen them, I only saw the first one, I binge watched all the Children of the Corn movies, and I don't think one of the sequels was alright, but all of them were just total shit.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I didn't even think the first one was that great. I mean, you know, it's just, I didn't think the first one was a bad movie. It just wasn't my kind of movie. It was, you know, these kids that started their own cult in the corn and they're killing the adults. I mean, it was kind of like The Wicker Man with kids.
Yeah.
But all the Children of the Corn sequels, you know, I don't know what they were going for. Part 3 was the best out of the sequels, but still not that good. Like, they brought Part 3 to, like, kind of like, you know, it was around, like, the 90s, and they kind of made it urban. And, you know, like, they had, like, you know, rap music in it and stuff, and I don't know.
It definitely goes away from brand.
Yeah, like, I just remember that time period, so that one was kind of like I could relate to a little bit. It was kind of funny. And Charlize Theron is in the movie as an extra. Like, you see her face for like 3 seconds, and I'm like, that can't be right. Why is she in that movie? So I looked it up. That's her very first movie, and she doesn't even have a role. She's just like, she is an extra.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was part 3?
Face, you know.
That was part 3?
Part 3, yeah. And like I said, that was not because of her, but it was probably the best sequel out of all the Children of the Corns, in my opinion.
Wow.
I don't think I watched any of those.
They were just looking for stuff to do, and they couldn't find it. And actually, Alexis Arquette is in, like, part 5 or something like that. Yeah, I think he's, like, the lead role in that one.
I just couldn't get into the story.
Isn't he a she now? Alexis Arquette?
I don't know.
Say that again.
Isn't Alexis Arquette a she now?
Alexis Arquette is dead now. So.
But she was a transgender.
Yeah. But Alexis, that's absolutely true. But Alexis Arquette is not a he or she anymore. It's Bag of Bones.
No longer with us.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but but at that point it was a he. Alexis Arquette is in Pulp Fiction, Chris. He's the guy in the bathroom during the shootout.
Oh,
Alexis Arquette.
Is he really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He looks like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know what that says.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's the guy in the shootout in Pulp Fiction that comes out with a hand cannon, you know.
Yeah. And misses.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. But I just couldn't get into Children of the Corn. Like, I don't like the story. I don't like I know it has a cult following, but it's just not my cup of tea at all. Like,
it's not one of the more, I wouldn't call it like a top tier, horror movie. But I mean, it spawned like 6 sequels, so they must have been doing something right.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's like the high big company lowest like tier product that they can put out. It's like a big company puts it out, but it's on the bottom of the barrel.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to. To put it.
Yeah, well, it's a big company production. It's
right. No, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely. I can't remember who's behind it, but it's not. It's not like Gatorblade Films made Children of the Corn or something.
And if Gatorblade Films did make it, it would be actually probably one of the better. It's like you see the level.
Yeah. If I made that movie, you'd be like, wow, Sean really went all out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it'd be top tier in your level, but bottom in high Hollywood level.
How about Naked Cannibal Campers of the Corn? How about that?
Where we putting the corn?
you know where the corn is.
The possibilities are endless.
Well, you have my head there, so don't put it in there.
Yeah, you put a corn cob in his mouth. Or put it on his neck. His neck to make it like a neck.
I mean, I see Sean's ideas are spinning right now with corn. Naked Cannibal Campers.
What else can we do with this? There's got to be.
I don't want to know what else you do with that head. Like behind at night. Do you sleep with that at night?
Yep, sleeps right next to me.
Right next to you as an underneath.
Does your hair look like this still?
Ish.
Kinda. I mean, you got a little facial hair now.
Oh, I think we could add facial hair to it because I'm not shaving again. I mean, I can do it too. I mean, it's uncanny how it resembles. No, we gotta fix that skin tone. We gotta fix that skin. We can give it a beard. How hard?
Dude, your nose is really this big.
It's really not. It's really not left.
Yes, it is. This is a mold of your face.
I think they added a pad in there. I think what he did, he added a pad in there. It's not accurate. I feel a little uncomfortable that you're caressing my nose like that.
That was pretty weird.
How does this feel?
That head's been places.
It has.
Cannibal Campers.
It has.
You know, that head's probably got more action than Tony's ever gotten.
That's probably definitely true. I know that for a fact. But that was BTS.
I remember I posted a picture. There's this picture from Naked Cannibal Campers, and it's the all the naked girls covered in blood, and they're holding the head. And one of the guys commented on Facebook that I don't know whether to feel sorry for this guy or to be jealous.
True.
Well, I don't know, really. I mean, it was definitely fun. Those shorts got destroyed. But other than that, it was just a real messy time. Like
I remember when it was time for you to get bloody. You were not too excited.
It was so gross.
He definitely resisted.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
it just dumps the blood on me.
So you're tied up on the ground, and the way we had the shot set up, like Sushi's naked crotch is like right over his face.
Right over my. So I look up, and all I see is like what? Like, it was just a weird. I mean, I'm not like saying I'm not grateful for the position, but
I don't know. You know, looking back at it now, we probably could have set up the shot, but I was like, no, that's where it has to be.
It worked for me.
Well, that's how it worked because she cut his head off. Like that's how it.
Yeah.
Like had to be positioned.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, she had to be close to you to cut your head off. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not mad at the position. I'm just saying it was just when it was time to get all bloody and all that, it was just really like a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood.
Well, I mean, that's what
you dumped the whole reserve.
We don't have the things that we lack. I have to make up for with either excessive nudity and excessive blood, and or both. So that's why it was as bloody. Because when you put that much blood, you've kind of like gone a level that Hollywood doesn't go. It's like
it's true.
The whole point of when you make a movie like that, you have to win people over by doing something that they're not going to get with a Hollywood movie.
Well, also
no Hollywood movie is going to do what we did in Naked Cannibal Campers.
No, not at all. But it also puts you in a different category. It puts you in that exploitation category.
Yeah.
So it's more of a Hollywood.
I don't even think say that you had really been killed like that in real life. I don't think there would have been that much blood. Like, there was like 2 gallons of. Or 3
like I said, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot. I felt all of it. It was so gross, like the sticky and it was. I don't know how to I think you were related to be like being slimed on Nickelodeon. I think that would be the only relatable.
I kind of think I said something like that.
But that's the small price you got to pay for being that close to a vagina. So
there was 3 of them around. There was definitely 3 of them around me.
Put your face in a vagina and then get blood dumped all over you.
That's the price. Yeah, I guess I paid for it. Paid for it a lot with the uncomfortable grossness. It was just really icky. Yeah. But I don't regret it. It was definitely fun. I had fun. The whole experience was fun. I think that was what.
I think. And Chris and I have talked about it. We definitely had fun. That was not that we don't have fun on all our movies, but that one was one of the more fun ones. And I think a lot of it had to do with all of us at the time. We were stuck in our houses for a couple months because it was right during the lockdown, and then we got let out, and we had this this cool thing that we got to do with just a small amount of people, and not only did we enjoy it, the people that saw it seemed to really like it too. I got a lot of compliments of that movie, and they said it was, one of the better movies that they've seen of mine. So, and it's still reaching an audience. We've still got the comic book coming up.
Yeah.
And
I personally think it is one of the better ones.
There has been talks. Chris and I were talking about a sequel, and we were going to pull the trigger on it, but the way that we would have had to do it at that time, I just didn't want to do it. So, but that's not to say we might not do it in the future.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I do think it is one of the better ones that I've seen that you've produced. A lot of the other ones I just don't. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, yeah, no, dude, you're not. No feelings hurt, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm
not
just
a fucking psycho.
Well, that's true. I'm definitely not a psycho. But I do see the cult following potential that it does have now, and I think it could be a lot bigger. Just open more doors and just being able to see
I'm
more.
hoping, once the comic gets released, I'm hoping that helps, reach another audience. And like I said, I mean, when the time is right, we'll talk about doing a sequel. I'm just not in a rush, right at the moment.
How do we chop my head off again? Do we get?
No. This time you're coming back headless, like you're gonna be a zombie.
Coming back headless and just holding my head. You want me to hold my head?
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of cool. Do you ever see? I think they did something like that in this. You ever see Idle Hands?
Oh yeah.
Movie?
Oh yeah.
I think did they do something like that in the movie?
Yeah, they did. I think his name was Penub. Penub was his name. Penub.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
No, it was his name. It was the same guy that played Fulton in Mighty Ducks. That guy.
Okay, right. Yeah.
He had his head chopped up and he was carrying around his head and sending his body to different places. It was pretty cool. We could do that. I'm up for it. They're witches, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, the cool thing about Naked Cannibal Campers is it's a horror comedy. It wasn't necessarily that way when we originally wrote it, but now that it is kind of established like that, we can do goofy stuff like that. You know?
I could wear a green screen mask. I could put the green screen thing on, just literally just take it out.
Well, here was part of my debate, and I told Chris this is, when we were gonna make the sequel probably about this time this year, and if we would have done it that way, it would have basically had about the same amount of budget the other one had. And what I didn't like about that is that I'm like, basically, I'm going to be pigeonholed into doing the same kind of thing. Like, I want to do other stuff, and unfortunately, other stuff costs more money.
Yeah.
And the money just wasn't there. So, that's why I just said I don't want to do it right now.
Do you think if we did a Kickstarter,
I would like to do, for instance, like the Headless Horseman thing or something like that.
Do you think if we did a pre-production Indiegogo, it would do good?
I mean, that one I'd be willing to try because, we tried that before with other projects and failed. But with this one, there's already a movie established, If I did it that way, I think I'd like to go out there for, say, like one day and shoot, just something so that way we could have some kind of a teaser trailer to put together.
Right.
But I'd be willing to try that, and if we reach the goal, then absolutely we'd make the sequel.
I think that would work. But, like I said, I think with the following,
here's the deal. I'm not looking for a lot of money to at least compared to most things. Like, I would like to make that for $10,000. That would be my goal on that movie. And by movie standards, that's a no budget. But considering what I made my other movies on, that would be one of my larger budgets. Yeah. So we had $10,000 to make that. I could do some of the things I want. I could have bigger special effects. I could fly in, cult actor. We could have more shooting days, more food, all that kind of stuff. Because if I just did it now with the same budget that we had, it would be just a lot thinner of a movie.
It'd be shit, Sean.
Well, yeah, the sequel always has to be bigger, more, like explosion. Give me an explosion.
Well, it's a sequel, so yeah, of course you want to go bigger on your sequel.
Explosion in the first one.
What was the explosion?
Sushi blew up.
Yeah, sushi blew up.
The grenade.
Jason threw a grenade at it.
Right, the grenade. I don't even remember how that looked. I guess I got to rewatch it.
Okay, it didn't look the great. I was happy with what it was, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is amazing. But because it looked so cheesy, it just made it funnier.
Right.
It works.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's the beauty of that movie is like some of the schlocky stuff in it works because it's funny.
Yeah. like I said, I do think an Indiegogo for that, because like I said, with the following it does have, and I think the good responsiveness that the first movie got, I think there is a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I think if I did do that, I'd want to wait a little bit after, once the comic gets going, so that I could, possibly attract those fans too, and say like next year or something like that, then it's got a little bit of weight behind it.
Yeah, you still don't want to wait too long. You don't want to wait too long after.
I think one more year really isn't that long.
Yeah, well, as long as it doesn't lose steam.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait like 5 years.
No, yeah, couldn't do that.
Well, the way it looks like the comic book's not going to be out for like 5 years, so
Is that comic book coming out?
Yeah, I actually just talked. I know it's taken a while. I actually just talked to David Sumi. He said they're in the process of creating the last page. And then it's off to the printer. So that's where it's at now, as far as I know.
What kind of a timetable?
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about that. But I mean, kind of like I have seen the rough draft of the comic. He has shown me that, and I mean it does look really cool. But kind of like you guys, I'm just like, all right, when? Right.
Is it going to be a digital comic too, or is it just going to be?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is going to be a digital comic as well.
Okay.
It'll be digital and print.
Well, there, guys. I think the digital age now. It's I know it's going away.
To watch? Oh, wait a minute. Who wants to look at a digital?
Yeah, I mean, digital movies.
People read
digital comics. To me, like I will never be a digital comic collector. Like that just seems stupid to me.
I want to hold it in my hand.
I mean, not for collectors. Collectors obviously want the actual comic, but I'm just saying for people that people read the digital books all the time. They do that.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and I think I'm just saying, like me personally, I would never be interested in that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not for you to buy; it's for someone else. But I do think that pulling a sequel for that would be definitely beneficial.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I mean, I think with that one, I'd like to try to do a pre-campaign. But again, if I didn't reach my budget, I'm not going to make it. And I tried that with this movie called Toilet Shark, and I got a very small response. And then after it was over, I did have a lot of people hit me up. It's like, when Toilet Shark come out? What about Toilet Shark? Why aren't you making Toilet Shark? I was like,
did you give money?
Didn't help me make Toilet Shark. I was trying to make Toilet Shark, and you didn't help.
Did you give money? No, you didn't. So no Toilet Shark for you.
You give me money, I give you the movie.
Well, to be honest, that's one of the title of that just doesn't scream like.
Yeah, and I'm glad with that one. I'm glad that I didn't go all out and make it, because once it released, I really started to realize it didn't do that well, and I learned that. But
I think it would have been very limited.
I was kind of on a forward momentum, because I was like right after Naked Cannibal Campers, and it just failed, and I was like, all right, but if that had been successful, then I probably wouldn't have made Zed's Dead, which actually proved to be more successful. So it worked out the way it did.
Well, and a lot of times that's actually how it works out. Like when it's the right timing, right chemistry for a lot of different things to happen. So I think that's X had to A had to happen for B to happen, and then C, when C didn't happen, D happened. It's just how it works.
There you go.
Yeah, but with the new Tampa Bay Screams, you said July 17th. Is that correct?
July 17th. It's at the Ramada West Shore, 1200 North West Shore Boulevard, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
In Tampa.
In Tampa.
And you have any vendor tables left?
I have 5 vendor tables left. So
5.
Better act now. I say it all the time, but they always sell out. So if you want one, you can go on the website. It's on GatorBladeFilms.com, or even if you type in TampaBayScreams.com, it'll link you to that, and there's a link to buy tickets and tables.
Yeah, I'll put the link. Like I said, just give me the links. I'll put them right in the description for our listeners and viewers.
So, something I forgot to mention. One of the guests we have is Felissa Rose. Which have you ever seen Sleepaway Camp, Tony?
Of course.
Okay, yeah, she's the lead actress in Sleepaway Camp. So I'm pretty excited to have her. And if you've never seen Sleepaway Camp, what's that?
The original Sleepaway Camp, or the
the
original Angela Baker?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The one with the penis.
People listening that have never seen that movie, you should definitely watch it because the ending is going to just throw a total curveball at you. You're not going to be expecting, what you saw.
Yeah, I know the first time I saw it was a big shock, but I don't know of anybody who has never seen that movie. Honestly, if they're a fan of the genre.
I mean, there's people that don't know about it. I mean, I was actually talking to someone the other day that hadn't seen it.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's people that don't know about it.
And that's a shock to me. Like I'm actually a big fan. Like it's that goofy type of horror again, but it's not like over the top goofy like sometimes.
Yeah, no, it isn't. But I mean, I know when I saw it, I didn't see it in the theater or anything like that. I rented it, and I like camp movies in general. Not like camp, but like I do like camp, but like movies set in a camp setting.
Yeah.
So I remember picking that one up, and I don't think the sequels had come out yet when I rented it. And I was like, oh, okay, it was like Friday the 13th or something like that. And I watched it, I think, with a couple of friends. And it was pretty basic, it was a Friday the 13th style movie. And then you get to the end, and you're just like, what the hell was that? It's just like, and it just totally like warps your mind when you see what you see. And then the credits roll, and you're just like, you feel like, you kind of feel a little dirty or something, like someone... Like your Uncle Creepy touched you or some shit. I don't know.
And, it's just a bad movie with a crazy ending.
Yeah,
what it is. And the ending, like you remember it. So it's like you don't even. I couldn't even tell you one thing that happened in that movie, other than the ending.
That ending like gets burned in your brain. Like you'll never forget it.
Yeah, and they show the flashback to like how it came to be, but. Like I was watching the behind the scenes to that, how the whole and the director only regret that one scene with the kids, with the little boys, how they got killed. The kid campers, that was the only scene that he regretted filming during that whole experience.
So he didn't regret the ending with Melissa Rose. He didn't regret that.
No, that's not. No, he said the only thing.
I mean, what
he
I
wouldn't
want to
have killed
know,
the kids.
given that wasn't a big budget movie, it was an independent movie on their standards. But even on that level, how did they talk whoever the producers were into like here's what we're thinking for the end? Like
you're talking to
like,
her parents.
That's
like
your
you got to talk
there.
her parents.
Like who signed off on that?
Right, you got to talk her parents into that because she was a little kid.
Well, it was a body double.
Yeah, she was underage. She was underage.
But she wasn't even on set when that scene happened. Like it was just a body double.
If you watch the movie, there is like they have a cast of her body.
Yeah,
it's not real, but then they cut to a close up of her face.
Yeah,
so she's never really naked.
No, no, she's just like I said. It's literally the cast on a little boy, and it's just
right.
And he actually unfortunately he just went. That kid that did that, he went like crazy, and like he didn't
really.
Yeah, he was institutionalized.
Gee, I wonder why.
He was institutionalized. Like I said, behind the scenes, that's what they said
you're
about
known
him.
for that.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, well, he showed his little, on camera.
Yeah, I mean, like, say that me and Chris were making a movie. Say that had never been done.
Yeah,
and that was our idea. By today's standards, to do that, there's no way in hell we could talk anyone into doing that. No one would do that.
Dude, I would. Shit, my shit.
No, but I mean, talking an underage girl's parents into doing that.
No, that's just...
It's not going to happen.
No. I mean, it wasn't... Like I said, it wasn't like real then either, even when it was on set. I don't know how much... I
mean, it seems like back then people were more like in the fashion of, oh man, I'm going to get to be in a movie, I'm going to do that. Now I almost have to force people to be in movies because you got your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube. I mean, I literally asked this girl to be in one of my movies in a non-nude part or whatever like that, and she told me, why would I want to do that when I could just be Insta famous? And I was like, what's Insta famous? She's like, Instagram. Like, I'll take a video of myself and I'll get 5,000 likes. I'm like, who gives a shit about that? Apparently, a lot of people.
Right.
Oh no, absolutely.
Young people.
They want the instant gratification of likes, and I don't know how that
movie you have to work hard at. You have to act, and it seems like the younger audience that was wanting to do that is diminishing.
Yeah. Yeah, all they have to do is show some cleavage or some ass on Instagram, and they get like
60,000 likes with this picture I took of myself.
But like, how do they get paid? I know they get they have to get sponsored, or they get sponsored.
I mean, I'm assuming like YouTube, if you get so many likes, then I guess you start getting paid for it. I know like Kim Kardashian, I'm pretty sure she gets paid from Instagram. I mean, she'll take any picture of herself, and it's in the millions of how many likes she gets.
Yeah. See, I don't know how their system works. I've never seen any monetized information on Instagram or Facebook or.
I've never really, but have you really looked though? I mean, have you really sought that out?
No, I mean Instagram and Facebook are the same company now. Facebook bought Instagram, but I didn't really, like I said, I just never thought about being at those levels of people and likes, and I just never been that important for likes and shit. I don't know. But it's not like YouTube. YouTube pays nothing too. Like you'd have to have 100,000 members and 100,000 likes, and it's just to make anything on YouTube. So I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't imagine how easily or difficult it would be on Instagram. I don't know.
No idea.
So hey, Tony, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you who do you got on? Do you have Joel Weinkoop coming on next week? I kind of heard about that.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Have you ever seen any of his movies or anything like that?
Like I said, I hear the name a lot. I can't put a face to the name.
Well, I mean, let's not. I mean, and no offense to Joel. I mean, he's not. He's not a huge star, but he was in a lot. He was in a couple cult movies in the '80s, and he's been doing stuff ever since. And I mean, here in the area in Tampa, he does a lot. I mean, I remember when I first found out about him. I'd see these independent movies, and I'm like, hey, Joel's in that. Hey, Joel's in that one. I'm like, is he in every movie made in Tampa? He's probably most known for the stuff he did with Tim Ritter in the 80s. There's a movie called Truth or Dare, the original Truth or Dare. Then he's in a movie called Killing Spree, which I actually think is the best one that he's in. And then he's in a reality TV movie called Dirty Cop No Donut, and Creep, a movie called Creep. Those are probably his best, in my opinion. Some of them, I think the Truth or Dares might be streaming, but you'll have to really feature them because there's 10 movies called Truth or Dare.
Yeah,
you should try and check out some of his stuff that he's in before you.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely plan on doing that. I got to do so. I do research generally on if we have anybody that I never heard of on the show. But
I mean, there's definitely at the very least, you can go on YouTube and just find archive footage and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and find a couple links to send you.
Awesome. I definitely appreciate that.
And he's going to be at Tampa Bay Springs too.
I am definitely coming to this one, to the one on July 17th. Definitely.
All right, yeah, for sure, man. It should be fun.
And that's a Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday. We're doing what we always do, and I think a lot of people that were afraid to come to the last one are probably going to come to this one because I've already gotten some people respond saying, "Oh man, I'm so glad you're doing it again." And really, I really wanted to do it because it was a test to see if I could do 2 conventions a year. So if this one goes really well, then I'll probably be doing 2 a year. So
I definitely would like to see that. I know a lot of people were asking for it. I definitely saw that on comments and questions on your Facebook and even on Instagram. I saw those comments. They wanted more. And there was also that question if 2 or 3 days was enough. I don't know. We would do Friday and Saturday, right?
So last year, not the last one, or actually not even 2019, we did a 3-day con, and it was the first time I ever did 3 days. And what I kind of learned at this point in time with my convention, 3 days was a little too much. So we did 2 days with the last one, or 1.5 days really. It was Friday night and then Saturday all day. And that seemed to be the best, bet. That seemed to work out the best, for everybody. And when I do one next year, it's going to be a 2-day con. And this summer, I might do the 2 days in the wintertime and the 1 day in the summertime. I might keep it like that, I don't know. But, I started this thing in 2016, I believe. It's 2021. I didn't even think it was going to last past the first one, so we're in our 6th year, 5th year, you want to call it. So it's staying alive.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a slow build. It's definitely a slow build. You definitely got to get the recognition and notoriety. just doing cons. I know cons just in general are just big business too.
I'm hoping to grow it, large one day to where it's, a big contender and, a lot of people come to Tampa for it. But right now, as it exists, it's working, and the people that do come seem to have a good time. So,
well, that's what's important. Like I said, as long as they keep coming and keep buying tickets, and I know it's definitely a good draw for here in the Tampa Bay area because, like I said, we don't really have not too much going on.
Well, that's why I started that one. There are more conventions in Tampa than you would think. There's a lot of comic conventions that come here. There's a shark convention now. I don't know if you're into that. There's this toy convention now that's fairly new. That they're getting a lot of momentum. That thing, every time I see it, it's like bigger and bigger.
It's like every 2 weeks he's having one.
Yeah, it's like every 2 weeks there's this toy convention, and it's larger every time I see it. So
where do they have it?
They just had it a couple weeks ago at the fairgrounds.
Oh, at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Tampa is getting more and more, things of that nature. So I'm hoping, the other conventions help mine, and mine helps them, and we just, we're more of a kind of contender for that kind of stuff. Because, in Florida, the big cities are Miami, Orlando. Tampa's kind of like the third.
Yeah.
So... we've got the championship football team, championship baseball team, championship hockey team. So I'm hoping all these things start to kind of put more focus on Tampa rather than Miami or Orlando
We definitely have a big mixture of just communities here in Tampa Bay area. You literally there's a lot of like just in general like. A lot of sports, a lot of sports fans, movie fans, tourists. We're a big tourist area. I think that's one of the only thing that makes it difficult for us to hold on to anything long term or year round because we're a big tourist area.
Yeah, like up north, I've done conventions up north, and I always seem to sell more of my products. Like when I went to Cinema Wasteland in Ohio, that was the best convention I ever did as far as sales. And I'm like, why do I sell more stuff there than here? Down here, you've got the beaches, you've got the sports, you've got the nightlife, you got Tampa, you got the strip club, you got all this stuff. Up north,
there's
in Ohio, they just don't have no offense to them, they just don't have as much to offer. So, movies to them is like, oh, yeah, I want to collect movies and be into that. That's what they got.
You go to a horror convention or go to the Bengals game. Like, which one are you going to do?
Here there's just so many things to do in Florida, trying to say, hey, do this over here is a bit more challenging.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff always.
Yeah,
every weekend there's tons of shit to do here.
Yeah, a lot of attention grabbers. Yeah. Especially when you have like the most beautiful beaches probably in all of Florida and pretty much all of the country. Like these beaches.
Yeah, people come down here to go to the beach. Not to go to a horror convention.
Yeah. Oh, that does, like I said, does make it difficult for for trying to build an industry community here. Is what what we were talking about.
Well, you moved out. You're not from here originally. What enticed you to come down here?
I'm actually the casino brought me down here. I moved down here. Yeah, I was working for casinos for 15 years, and then I moved down here for the Hard Rock. Had me move me down here, and I started working there.
Oh, were you working there at the Hard Rock? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked in the food and beverage hospitality for, like I said, 15 years, and then I literally just retired food and beverage hospitality on January 1st, 2020. Now, right before the pandemic.
Good for you. Yeah, I'm a food and beverage retiree as well. March of 2020 for me.
There you go. Oh yeah.
But it had its had its times, but that's not something I want to go back to.
No, and especially during these times, and people are more. They grew more impatient now. They grow more. It just got uglier. It just got uglier. Just being in this hospitality and service industry. in general. Like, I don't see how people could be rude to people going out of their way to try to make them happy.
People don't care, man.
It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Actually, Mace just posted. Did you see her post?
Yeah, I saw that.
She works at Panera Bread. We had her on a couple weeks ago, and she said that some lady poured coffee all over the counter and told her to clean it up. I'm like, what the?
I would have throat punched her.
Like, who does this?
I don't see how people get off doing stuff.
Yeah, that would have been the end of it. Like, I would have put the coffee on her body. Like, it would have went on her clothes.
Yeah, no, that industry isn't for everybody, and it definitely wasn't for me because I'm just the kind of person, if someone's being rude to me, it's really hard for me to be nice back to them.
Right.
And, I get customer complaints all the time. I'm like, well, they're being a dick. So I'm not going to yeah, sure, we want to help you and get your food out. I'm like, I don't care. I was like, I'll be honest with you, I don't care if your food's cold. Because you're not very nice.
I think Ben Affleck said it in Mallrats best. The customer's always an asshole.
Yep. Yep.
What happened to the customer's always right?
I know.
An asshole.
Like I said, I was mostly in management, so I always had to deal with the customers even more so. Like that, like they would just yell at me, and I was always the youngest one in the building at the point. I mean, not now, but I was always like the young manager that they thought they would take advantage of, and so it was just horrible growing up and learning the.
So speaking of, hold on, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. So I was actually at the Hard Rock this weekend. I stayed there. Thanks a lot for coming to my birthday party, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for the invite too.
It's not my scene.
Thanks.
I don't gamble and I don't drink.
I got this. I don't know how well you can see it. It's a noise complaint.
What did you do at the Hard Rock? Where they play like loud hard rock music.
So all right. So I was in my room. I had maybe 4 or 5 people in there, and we had the TV on, but not real loud. And we were literally we were all talking. Like everybody was talking. We were in our own conversations. And about 5 minutes later, we get a knock on the door. Security guard, with this, letter, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry to have to do this, blah blah blah," and we're like, all of us unanimously were like, we're not even being loud. Like I know what loud is. Like I've been loud. There's been times where I should have gotten a noise complaint and didn't, but I'm like, this is ridiculous. So if you get 2 of these and you get another one, they kick you out of the hotel.
What?
So. Yeah,
this is the Hard Rock.
Right on your second complaint, you get removed from the hotel. So I was kind of like, well, this is kind of fucked up. But then I thought it was funny. This is like a good little piece of memorabilia for my
put it on the wall. Frame it. Frame it. Put it on the wall. Put it happy. What was it? 44th birthday for you?
Yeah. I know it's hard to see, but I had everyone like sign it and stuff, and they wrote stuff on it. So it's kind of funny.
So funny.
Nice. Oh,
One thing I just noticed about your house, like your whole living room is like DVDs and horror stuff, and then you have this weird flower picture. Like, what the fuck is that?
That's Georgia O'Keeffe. If you're not familiar with her.
Okay.
It's my grandmother's.
Oh, okay.
She passed away, and it's just like it's the one thing that
That's the one thing
put
you
on
held
the
on.
wall,
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I like it. It adds a little class to your. Adds a little class to your.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect like
classy.
Freddie or Jason, but no,
right.
I kept it kind of,
I was actually expecting the picture from the Titanic. The painting that he painted. That's what I would expect it on your wall, like with her tits out, and what's her name? Winslet, I think.
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Her tits out.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I mean, it shows that you're a movie fan and also fan of tits. It's whatever.
I want a Jackson Pollock all over your Georgie O'Keeffe. Right?
Tony, that's a line in one of our movies.
That's
a Gatorblade Films, Reaper Films original line right there.
I think I've heard that.
It's in Die Delta Pi. I don't think it was in any other. I don't think it's in any other. Maybe it is.
I'm gonna fact check that. Cause I think I've heard that. And I've only seen Die Delta Pi I think once. So I don't know. Like I said, it does sound familiar. Yeah. Or I'm gonna Van Gogh on whatever, something like that.
Well, then I mean the whole line is I want a Jackson Pollock all over your Georgia O'Keeffe. And then the female says to him,
Let's Vincent
Van Gogh, baby.
How original. Who wrote this crap?
I think Marcus came up with that.
That line, I mean, that line
wasn't in the
actually,
script.
Marcus Cook, the
Marcus came up
effects
with that.
artist, came up with that line. That was all ad-lib.
Yeah, we just added that scene, I think.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think we just came up with the scene, too. Because we had a screenwriter that actually wrote our script, but, you know, there's definitely things that me and Chris threw in on our own. Like, you know.
Yeah. I definitely... That's just one thing that I think with your scripts and that I've seen, like, the dialogue is not always... favorable to me. I'm just saying.
What are you saying, man? It's genius writing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tony just can't deliver lines.
No, the lines that I get are just so stupid, and I have to make them sound like coherent.
But that's the point.
Well, exactly. That's actually my point to your point. Making a point.
Stick to the script.
Sticking to the
one thing, and I'll say that one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm working with an actor and they are questioning what I wrote. Now, with that being said,
I make fun of what you write.
It probably doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It probably doesn't. But when they start arguing with me, I'm like, just do what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
Because it makes sense to me and it's going to make sense. And I've had the same argument with Chris. He's like, well, that shot doesn't make sense. And I'm like, just shoot it anyway. Like, just do it.
And Sean's always said, it's a movie. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, that's going on my
And I'm like,
that's going on a tombstone, yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is he talking about? It doesn't make sense what you're saying.
Like, I've noticed that in all the movies that I've been on set with, like, some things I'm like, what does that even come from? Like, how did that even? How is that even a sentence?
There's shit rolling around.
Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. You know, I'm not. But sometimes I'm not wrong, and when I'm not wrong, I don't like people telling me that I am. So that's why I'm like, just do it.
There's all kinds of strange shit rolling around in his head.
Yeah, I'm just
curious. It comes out every once in a while, and you're just like, that's fucking genius.
Do you actually think?
Exactly. Sometimes my ideas turn out to be really cool, but you know, sometimes they're not. You know, I mean, but
when you come up with some of these,
to me, they seem like good ideas.
When you come up with some of these lines, do you actually think like that's a fucking good line? Is that?
No, I mean, I was like early on when I first started, like you know, you get kind of this is gonna be, but you know, after you've made 10 movies. You think some things are going to be funny, but you're hoping they are.
Right.
But it usually works out like the things that I don't think are that great or that funny are the stuff that people really like.
Right,
you know?
Heartbreak Killer.
You know,
like he wrote Heartbreak Killer to be a serious, dark movie.
Right, perfect example.
It's
this
freaking
movie
hilarious.
I made to be like kind of really serious. And everyone thought it was a comedy.
It's hilarious.
Like, this is a really funny movie. I'm like, well, it's not supposed to be. You know?
Yeah.
I have yet to see that. I do apologize. I have yet to see that.
No, that's cool, man. I mean, next time we hang out, remind me. I'll give you a copy of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like the movie that I'm the most proud of that I directed, it's that one. But that's probably one of my least popular movies.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's a niche, isn't it? A very niche movie. Like it's like.
Yeah, it's not my typical kind of. You know, I tried to do something a little different, and the audience that I have, that just isn't what they wanted. You know,
his audience
kind of like the movie that you're in, Dead Residence. You know, we tried something different there.
A lot of people like that though.
That one didn't really do well either. So after those two movies, Chris and I both learned it's like, well, if we want to make a movie that A, people are going to watch, B, that we're going to make a little bit of money off of, it has to be this, you know, over the top, boobs and blood type thing. That's the only thing that's going to work for us. You know, which is okay. I like that stuff too, but you know, I want to do other stuff. But at this point where I'm at now, I'm only going to make the exploitation type stuff because that's where the audience is.
Yeah. Well, when what we want to do, like, how do you plan on like expanding, or do you want to expand into like different marketing? Different.
Chris and I had talked about that. I mean, for me to expand or for us to expand, we really have to do something on a higher budget. You know, with name actors. You know, if I made my type of movie just on a bigger budget, that's not the answer. You know, I have to make a different kind of movie with a bigger budget, with name actors and more advertising, you know, so that's what but for me to do that, I'm not going to pay for it. Like, I would only want to do that if someone else is funding it. You know, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to keep making the same kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we were talking about that before. It's a formula. You know, you have a formula that works, and I mean, it gets you by, and it gets you to the next movie. I think that's. I mean, it's not a bad business model. It's just
no. I mean, we don't hate it. I mean, you know, I definitely, because you start getting bored with, you know, doing the same thing over and over, but. You know, I'm glad, hey, at least I have some kind of following, some kind of niche. I mean, there's people that haven't even, you know, they haven't gotten as far as I have. So it's nice to have, you know, hey, I can make a $5,000 movie and make my money back, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm definitely thankful. I'm not complaining. But, yeah, man, I'd like to grow and reach more people and do other stuff. But,
how many movies do you have on your belt?
I mean, the market is so oversized. There's so many people making movies right now. It's hard to, like, separate yourself from everything else.
I mean, yes and no. I think people always have a different strategy on how they release it. I think a lot of movies aren't getting to the average viewer. I think that the avenues that people are using are just not successful in general. I think a lot of people are just being discouraged from the current distribution and different thing that's going on, and just in general. Like I said, people are.
I mean, if we were still living in the age of video stores, I think that Chris and I would be a lot more successful. With streaming, there's just like so much, and there's so many movies that aren't on it. You know, you're just, you know, the video store was where it was at. Like, if there was a movie, like, that's where it was. It was at the video store.
Right.
You know, and that's just not the way it is anymore.
Not like that. You know? Like I said last week, I think I have like 7 streaming services that I pay for, or, you know, Tubi that's free or whatever. And I was like, you know, I want to watch Amazing Spider-Man 1. Can't find it on any of them. Like, it's nowhere. You can't find that movie anywhere. So I got to walk to my living room, get the DVD. You know what I mean? Where back in the day, you know, the DVD was the thing. So you just went to the store and there it was, and you just rent it or buy it. And now it's not like that anymore, where you're having to rely on streaming services, and if they don't have the movie, you just can't watch it.
Yeah, just give up.
Unless you have the DVD. So that's what.
Yeah, I mean, that's what pushes me to buy. Because I mean, you know me, I like older stuff anyway. I'm like, oh, I really want to watch The Burbs or whatever, or something like that. It's like, oh, it's not. You know, I'll check out my Roku box. It's not streaming anywhere, but guess what? I got the handy dandy DVD or Blu-ray. You know, watch all the time.
Yeah,
so.
I that's why I think that also the physical copies are. I think people still collect them. People still buy them. They're just having less place to buy them. I think that's the difficult thing. I think they're going away with them from stores like Best Buy and everything too quickly.
I think, and I've had this conversation with other people. I think as far as like mainstreamy stuff, like your X-Men's, your superhero movies, your Hollywood stuff, eventually I think the physical form of that is going to die out completely. But for people like me that collect old horror movies, there's all these boutique labels. There's Arrow Video, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Master Video. I think those are going to have longer lifespans because those people, they want a physical copy.
Yeah.
And a lot of their movies that they release aren't streaming. It's like that's the only way you can watch it.
You know? Yeah. I think a lot of the big companies will just be primarily doing the streaming. It's also cheaper for them too. There's more of the bottom line.
Nothing to worry about. It's like there's no returns. We don't have to make anything. It's just,
distribution. They don't have to distribute anything. They don't have to make anything. They don't have to hire anybody. Just upload, and that's it. Done.
Well, even the new future, you know, since the pandemic, I think streaming is also, you know, it already killed the video store.
Yep.
I think it's also going to kill the movie theaters.
Yep.
You know, it's like, why would I go to movie theaters, spend $40, $50 my whole family? I can just get HBO Max for $20 a month and watch everything.
Yep.
You know,
because they're going to release the new movies on their streaming service.
Yeah, I think
theaters.
That's the future. And I think, you know, kind of like physical media, you're still going to have movie theaters, but they're going to be more specialty, more niche. You know, they're only going to be open 3 days a week. They're only going to have limited showing.
When they're releasing these movies on HBO Max, how are they getting paid? Like, I just saw Mortal Kombat over the weekend made $22 million. So how are they going to make? I'm sure the budget was way more than $22 million.
Yeah.
And you got to think like a Marvel movie that has like a $350 million budget. How are they going to get their money back releasing it on HBO Max?
I think they just count basically on the new subscriptions. I think that's what they're the same thing what Netflix did in the early days.
Yeah, but that money goes to HBO Max. It doesn't go to Marvel or whoever's making the movie.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what their deal is too.
The thing with Marvel movies.
Yeah, I'm sure the producers are getting some kind of cut or something.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But I think HBO Max is paying the studio for the rights to the movie right off the bat. But the thing is like, but here's the thing: if you got a $350 million movie, they would make that like in the second release, the second week of the movie being released at the theaters, they would make that money back. Now, I think it's going to be harder for them to make $300 million over a weekend with it being on HBO Max.
I agree. I think the future is you're going to start to see movies with lower budgets is the future because they're like, well, we can't make that
That's
anymore,
the thing. That's what's going to happen is people like us are going to be gold because we can make a movie for no money.
Yeah. Well, all our
I don't know if I'll say we're going to be gold, but
definitely bronze. Definitely
we're
bronze.
all going to find out here in a few years and see what happens. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, the big
hopefully
budget.
we are.
Well, hopefully they start making things cheaper to make, like CGI. Like hopefully the rendering on those. I think that hopefully that would just get cheaper. If people can start making that cheaper, budgets will go down, and then it would actually make it even for even productions such as our level. Like we might be able to have such attainable, even low level CGI. Like we would be able to get like convincible CGI if they just somehow made it rendering cheaper and being able to create stuff like that. But then it would also allow more people to become like cartoonists and animators, and I think a lot of people will start doing that because now anyone could do it, and it could be budget savvy for anybody, any type of creator. Right. I think it could be a good and bad in general for our industry.
But what's going to happen is they're going to start making movies for way lower budgets, and which means in turn the actors are going to get paid less, and then the actors are going to be like, well, why should I act? I could just be insta famous.
Well, like I said, but I mean, yes and no. I know the actors aren't going to get paid as like they did, but I guess that would just make them work more. I guess
I don't know,
or have them,
or maybe be in our movies.
Oh, there's some.
Yeah, I hope we do see some kind of resurgence with B type movies because of what's happening, but I think right now it's still a little too early to say this is what's going to happen. I hope it is what happened, but I don't know.
Yeah, some strange times we live in. Strange times. It's very unpredictable at the time because like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how. Well, I know digital is not going away. Digital is going to be king unless somehow it makes it very expensive to do that. But at this time, it's just not feasible for a lot of companies to do. They won't do distribution on Blu-rays and DVDs anymore because it's just not the numbers aren't there. It's just not. I mean, it's just not. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just not financially sound to put out DVDs and Blu-rays and posters and prints, and it's just. I mean, I don't know if any other intel on that, but it's just going to go away. I think just in general for all the mainstream.
No, I think you're right, man. I think that is, what's going to happen with mainstream stuff.
But like I said, if we
I don't think, I will say this, movies aren't going away. I don't think everyone's going to be like, well, we're not going to make movies in it. Someone is always going to want to be an actor. Someone's always going to want to be a filmmaker. And I think you're going to have movies, well past our time. They're going to keep making movies. But just how they get made and who makes them is what's kind of to be determined.
Well, it's always going to change. I mean, we make movies different than we did years ago. So, I mean, it's just evolving.
Yeah, like I said, I think the techniques it's going to get cheaper because it's going to be everyone's going to learn how to do them. Sure. And I think, like I said, the rendering power is pretty much the reason why a lot of these big studios have such high budgets because the rendering power that's required to do some of the CGI is ridiculous. Like the GPUs that we do on regular editing for our gaming computers, Like they have to have like multiple systems just to do the rendering power of these CGI creatures. But like I said, if that gets cheaper and attainable for low budget or medium budget, I think you're going to see a lot more us going out there and building a bigger community that way. I think a lot more ideas are going to get created. I think a lot more stories are going to be told because it'll be more attainable and a lot more cheaper to be created.
Yeah.
I think that's a big positive for us in general.
Well, I hope so, man.
In the long run,
the way it goes.
Like I said, if things become cheaper and in our budgets, I think that's even better for us because we're able to tell more stories and put our ideas out there because we're not mainstream. I mean, some people might become mainstream, but it's just not there. And people actually have to look for us or our studios just to see some of our movies. But what if we didn't have to do that? What if they just found us because we were just there, because it was cheaper or affordable for us to be in the same conversations or the same streaming platforms as, let's say, the bigger studios. Like, let's say Avengers on a streaming site right next to Naked Cannibal Campers. Imagine seeing that.
Right.
but like I said,
you never know.
You never know. You never know, and that could be in a very niche, bargain box. But still, it'll be if it's in the same category or in the same platform. Why not?
Well, what's funny is we had our movie at Myers, right?
Yeah, Diet Elf Pie.
Yeah, it was in a box of like 50. They had like a display of like 50 horror movies for Halloween, and we were in there, and we were like, weren't we in like the top 20 in sales?
I think the first year we did it, we were one of the biggest sellers, and I think the reason why was because in that box you had Friday the 13th, Halloween, Leprechaun, like movies that people had already seen, and like we were like the only movie that was like, what's this? It's a brand new movie, So if you're not familiar with Meyer is like a CVS or an Eckerd's or Rite Aid, but more in the Midwest. And we were in their Halloween DVD, whatever you want to call it, sales kiosk. I think for 3 years.
Yeah.
And that really, I think we sold a lot of copies that way. But again, I mean, this is a distribution thing. People will see that or hear about it, and they'll be like, "Oh man, you guys must have made so much money." So we did sell a lot of copies, but after I did the math, what I made in profit was basically boiled down to $1 a copy is what I brought in.
Yeah.
So and again, a lot of people that are first time distributors and get into that, they think, "Oh, I've got distribution, we're gonna make all this money."
No, you're not.
Most of the time, not only little money, but no money.
Yeah. Pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky there. I mean, I've only been able to make a little bit of money because I have a direct distribution line, whereas a lot of people, they go through someone else, and then that person, sucks up all the money or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, I tell filmmakers this, I've had a few filmmakers sign with me over the years, and I always tell them, look, I'll get your movie on Amazon, Best Buy, and all that, .com, but the most money you're going to make is if you make copies and you sell it. And some of them get kind of discouraged of hearing that. I'm like, I'm telling you, that's the best way you're going to make money is by doing that.
Well, that's the same thing they did with music back in the day. They used to make a mixtape and just sell it out of the trunk of their car,
right.
And that's how they.
Yeah, early on, people get I remember hearing Motley Crue, they made an EP and they would sell it at their shows.
Lil Wayne started that way too. Lil Wayne, Ludacris started that way. He was on he had a radio show and he was selling CD mixtapes out of the trunk of his car. And that's pretty much how they started, how they made it big, and how they started selling.
But now, we talked about with the whole, physical media thing kind of died. For guys like us that depend on that, now it's now what do we got? I mean, I'm to the point.
Movie.
If I can sell 300 copies of something, that's kind of okay, we did all right with that one. If I sold 300 copies,
yeah,
How
many movies do you have? How many movies have you done, or you have?
Show Vampire, Diet Elf Pie, Death Sport Service, Cannibal Claws, Death Sport Service 2, Heartbreak Killer, Dead Residents, Naked Cannibal Campers, Sushi Sex Seance, Zed's Dead, And I have a documentary that's in the works coming out too. So it'll be 11 altogether that are done.
Oh, nice.
11
so you have
features.
a pretty good, filmography of just, but are you selling them anywhere else? Like anywhere? So
I mean, all my movies have, in physical form. I mean, with the exception of, I think all of them. I think all my movies you can buy them all on Amazon. Either Blu-ray or DVD format. Streaming, not so good. I mean, Delta Pi is on Amazon. Dead Residence is on Tubi. I think a few of my movies are on like the Troma Now streaming site. But I've always had trouble with streaming with my movies because they're really graphic, and a lot of streaming platforms don't want that. So that's
Launch.com wants it.
Good venue for me. I did have my other partner in crime, Chris Woods. He had a Vimeo account, and he was doing really well with that. And we had all of our movies, his movies, my movies, and other filmmakers on that. And I was making the most that I ever made on streaming when he was at the top of his game. And then I think we got a little bit of popularity, and Vimeo saw what our content was, and they just shut us down. And we're like, well, this sucks. This was a good, revenue stream for us, and now that's gone. So,
Raunch Movie Haven .online is picking up some steam now, for exploitation movies.
Yeah, no, there's money to be made. I don't know. I'm just old school, and I don't have a lot of connections for streaming. So I just, I'm still living in the world of physical copies.
I'll send you a link, or Chris.
Yeah, I know about your thing. I know we still haven't done that, but I'm aware of that. But I wish there was more places.
Yeah.
Where you could, because like I said, I think there is.
Well, that's the only thing. You only need one place. If you put your stuff in one place and drive everybody to that one place, then. That's what you guys are doing with Vimeo.
I kind of have to disagree with you there. I think it should be in multiple places.
But that's what you were doing with Vimeo.
Because everybody's not going to go to that one place.
You just said you were making the most you ever made on Vimeo because you were driving everybody to Vimeo.
But that was only one place. Like, I think it would do better on multiple places. But
that's the problem. There's not.
There's nowhere do you watch on Vimeo? How many movies do you watch?
Zero.
On Vimeo?
I've never watched a movie on Vimeo.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. How many movies do you watch all your movies on Tubi? No. Do you watch all your movies on Amazon? No. You want your movie in multiple places. Right. You don't want it in one place.
But what I'm saying is the problem is your movies aren't allowed to be on other places.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Is I want them to be in more places. They need to. That's the problem. Is they're not allowed to be.
It's not going to happen.
Not that they're only in one place.
They're all fucking. Oh, we want PG-13 in our movies. That's it. We don't want X-rated or NC-17 or whatever the hell it is that your movies are. They're not going to allow that, and neither is Hulu, neither is Amazon, neither is Tubi. They're just not going to.
Well, that's their loss.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. But that's eventually when companies. Same thing when legalizing weed. When people start legalizing weed, more places are going to be accepting of it. So I think same thing with movies. When there's no other place to put it and there's money to be made, I think that's going to ultimately change down the road. But now it's just not a thing because people just don't accept it. And same thing with credit card companies. Credit card companies don't allow certain payment gateways for certain type of content, and that's another difficult thing for like a Vimeo or in general, because payment gateways don't allow certain content. So that's just another gateway that they have to go through, another hoop that content creators have to go through, because the payment a website can allow it, but the payment gateway can't, or the gateway can and the website can't. So it's just more red tape for creators such as yourself that would have to go through this whole navigating through this industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. But on that note, I think that having you join us today on the Killer Clad podcast has been a pleasure. Thank you so much once again, Sean Donohue.
Clearly the best one you've ever had.
That's open for debate. You guys can have that in the comment section. Gatorblade Films. The links will be in the description below. Same thing with Tampa Bay Screams, July 17th. Also,
Be there.
And Chris Lato from Reaper Films. Once again, as always, my name is Tone Deaf from Florida, Tony D. Thank you for joining us, Collab Podcast. Thank you, listeners. Be happy and be healthy.
My co-host,
and my head. But you enjoy that head.
I wonder what he does with that thing.
I don't want to know what he does with that thing.
I'm gonna take a bunch of dirty pictures with it.